Hare Krishna devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So all well?
Yeah, all well.
Chapter today. Today which chapter?
Attaining the Supreme. Attaining the Supreme.
Attaining the Supreme. So all ready to attain the Supreme?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so the second module, interesting model, because Bhakti, the most content knowledge is spoken, and it's like a sandwich, right? Safely kept in between. So the first 6 talks about karma, how you can achieve Bhakti via karma. End of the day, Bhagavad Gita entire life is about connecting to Krishna. Middle 6 is like an escalator, right? Short route, how we can directly go. So in the 7th chapter, Krishna very clearly tells in 7.4 his energies, right? His apara, which is his external energy, which is inferior. And 7.5, he spoke about his superior energy, right? And we will. He also spoke about 4 kinds of pious people and 4 kinds of miscreants. So before I get more into the summary of the 7th chapter, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Ananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadhati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. So our today's chapter, please pay a lot of attention because it is very technical. Why is it technical? Because Arjuna asks questions on the technical aspects here. So let's see what it is in the 8th chapter. Though it is a part of bhakti, there's a lot of gyan and jnana here. Let's pay our obeisances to Shishi Radha Govinda. So 7th chapter we told, right? Shrunu. So how do we know about Krishna? By hearing about him. We know both material and spiritual energy, which we saw, right? And 3 modes are controlled by Krishna. Krishna is above, he's nirguna, above the 3 modes. We saw this one, right? Impious people and the pious who surrender to him. We also saw another category which is talking about the the demigod worshippers and the impersonalists, right? Now, with all these options, people will get confused. So he is finally telling, don't worry, you living entity, how can you achieve the freedom through the knowledge of Krishna? So why do we know Krishna? We have to know Krishna to see. Knowing Krishna and knowing about Krishna is very different, right? Knowing Krishna, we're going to take a very long time. Currently, we are just going to know about Krishna. So that is going to make us get us closer to Krishna. Wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day and a very Krishna conscious Valentine's Day. This morning when we were reading Bhagavatam, something funny came up. So everybody were saying, what is the highest, our goal should be to, achieve prema, right? So that's the 9 process. The 9 process, what in the 9, what is our 9 process? We should get into the prema bhakti, right? So most of the time we get stuck at the middle stage. We are very good. We have started off sadhu sangha. We are we are like really progressing a lot of steps, right? Like sadhu sangha is there, bhajana kriya, everything is fine, right? But somewhere we will get stuck. So that we should not. And let's hope this Krishna gives us a very happy Krishna conscious Valentine's Day to go to our Prema stage, right? So there was another devotee who told, Mataji, then today we should be in Madhurya Ras, right? So I said, no, not required, because today any rasa, right, whether it is Shanta Rasa or Madhurya Ras, Krishna exhibits love. And the material world of Valentine's Day also talks about love in any form. Though people have now contaminated it's only between boy and girl, technically it was originally spoken and wished for any love. And it started off with a father who wanted to do it for orphan children. And that's how it started. And it just got totally corrupted, adulterated, and, had taken a materialistic form. So every thing about Krishna consciousness, we don't leave anything, right? So that is one thing. And today we know what's special today. Also, Monday happens to be Nityananda's. What is special today? You all are going to find out and tell me before the end.
Nityananda Tatradasi.
Nityananda's?
Triyadasi.
So who is Nityananda?
Lord Balaram.
Perfect. So Lord Balaram is Nityananda when he comes as in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I don't understand why all of you will celebrate and not me. So wish me as well. Hare Krishna, all of you.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Krishna conscious Valentine's Day. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So let's dive in. So 8th chapter, first thing, Krishna now, the whole thing is because Krishna ends with a lot of technicality in the 7th chapter. So 1 to 4, Krishna, this is something beautiful. Can anybody guess how many questions are asked in the 8th chapter? And second is, how many verses are there in the 8th chapter?
8th chapter is 28 verses.
Superb. 28. And how many questions are asked? Because 1 to 4, I said Krishna answers to Arjuna's questions. So Arjuna is asked questions. So how many questions does Arjuna ask?
Approximately five questions.
8 questions, Prabhu. So just for you to remember, it's 8 questions, 8 chapters, 28 verses, right? So second session, he says, remembering Krishna at the time of death. Oh my God, it's so difficult, right? For us, remembering Krishna during our free time itself is very difficult. Now he's talking about at the time of death. So everything Krishna tells, he tells about how you can do. And, and also plan A and plan B is the most beautiful part of it. So the 9 to 13, he says, remembering Krishna through Mishra Bhakti, right? Mishra Bhakti means as a practice, how do you remember? And for people like us, where we are mixed with a lot of multiple emotions, right? Not only that we want to celebrate Krishna consciousness Valentine's Day, we want to celebrate the normal Valentine. So we are very mixed bhakti. So we are, so everything around us is there, right? So that is one thing. And 4 the categories between 8.14 to 16, he talks about pure, unalloyed, ananya bhakti, right? So he talks about how do they do that and what is the destination. Now 8.17 to 22 is comparing the material and the spiritual world, glories of the spiritual abode, and that is also para shakti, which means his internal potency, which is a superior energy. With that only Krishna creates his superior abode. And last 23 to 28, the supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. So what is the supremacy, right? What's so great about it is what we're going to see. Krishna answers to Arjuna's question. So Arjuna inquired, oh my Lord, oh supreme person, what is Brahman? What is self? What are fruitive activities? What is material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain to me. This is one set of questions. And then in 8.2, how does this Lord of sacrifice live in our body? And in which part? Oh Madhusudana. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So beautiful, these 2 questions. Whoever wants to read, please have your hand raised. Hare Krishna. Now, very important thing here, he addresses Krishna as Madhusudana, which means Arjuna is having doubts, right? Doubts, confusion, inhibition. So Madhusudana, Krishna is a killer of the Asura Madhu. So therefore, he is addressing him to tell that, hey, I have these issues, I have these confusions, doubts, please kill my doubts. So why is this come? Because of these shlokas 7.29 and 30. Hare Krishna. Jara marana mokshaya mamashritya yantanti te brahma tadvidu krishnam adyatmam karma chakilam. 7.3. Hare Krishna. Sadhu bhutadi devam mam sadhi yagnam chaye vidu prayena kale pichamam te vidu yukta chetasa. Okay, now colors, Brahma, oh my God, Adi Atma, Adi Devam, Adi Yagna, and Prayana Kali. Right? There are so many definitions of Brahma. Brahma can mean us, which is the soul. Brahma can also mean Parabrahma, right? Which is Krishna. Brahma also refers to Brahma Jyoti. So these are the meanings which are brought in Bhagavad Gita, and there is also our Brahma Deva, right? So there are multiple meanings, but we have to go by the context. Now, Adi Atma, what it is, Adi Deva, and what is, Adi Yagna and Prayajakani. So all this we are going to see. And before we see, these are the 8 questions Krishna asks. What is Brahma? This might be heavy in this chapter, in this table, but when I'm explaining through the purport and the shlokas, it will become easy. So please do hold on to it and stay. So don't worry about it. So let's go ahead with it. Brahman, Jiva, indestructible living entity. So what is he saying? So Brahman is nothing but the Jiva, the indestructible living entity is called the Brahman. So that's the speciality of Brahma. So who is this indestructible one? The soul is indestructible and it is a permanent living entity. Next one is Adi Atma, which is the nature of Jiva, right? The nature of Jiva by itself, we will understand what it is in the context, but just for you to understand in line. So Adi Atma is more about our body and mind, which we have read, right? And it is for example, the nature of sugar is to be sweet. And the nature of salt is to be salty. Chili is to be spicy. So that's the true nature. In fact, dharma is also the same, right? The original nature of something is what it is. So, and here the Adi Atma, Adi Atma here is which means it is eternal and it is not conditioned, right? It lives somewhere else, but we have brought him and put him in the conditions, right? So that is the controller of our body. That is irrespective bodies. Karma. Now, has many meanings of karma. Some come and tell me what is karma. Hare Krishna. Tell me different meanings of karma you know of. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, if you can mute everybody. There's sound coming out.
Hare Krishna, I'm waiting. What are the meanings you have for karma? So karma, we all have read, in the first module, we had types of karma. So what are the 3 types of karma? Hare Krishna.
Karma, akarma, vikarma.
Thank you so much. Thanks. So those are things. Also, karma means actions, right? We also talk about karma, right? Reactions of what we did, our fate in our English style, right? So here, Prabhupada very beautifully has explained karma as actions that lead to the material body. Whatever action we do, which has gifted us. So this is a consolidated karma of whatever we just revised and whatever we have learned. Now, Adi Mudha is the material manifestation, whatever we see, right? Material nature. Adi Deva are supreme devatas, the universal form, which includes all the demigods. Yadi Agna, the enjoyer of sacrifice, is the Paramatma. Right? And you all know where Paramatma resides. He resides where? Dash. Where does the Paramatma reside?
In the hearts of all of us.
Thank you so much. So Paramatma's residing place is heart. How do you remember at the time of death Krishna is by practicing remembrance throughout life. So there is a famous saying, right? The entire life is a practice and death is our examination. So if you try and beat by saying, okay, fine, you feel that I have to fall in love with Krishna and I should think of Krishna at the time of death, no problem. I will set my alarm on the last day of death. I will put photos, I will get everything organized and I will tell only Krishna, Krishna. Will it work? Will it work?
No.
No, because Krishna is also smart, right? He gives, in 15.15, he says he gives the memory, he gives intelligence, and he gives forgetfulness. So he knows how to make you forget. Right? So this is a very beautiful thing. So for me to summarize the 3 tough words, here will be Adi Atma, Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva. So let's assume that right? I becomes the Adi Bhuta. I see things, right? And I am the seer. So I become the Adi Atma. And I entirely is created by whom? By Devatas, right? So Adi Deva is the supreme demigod, right? we are going to read in the 11th chapter the universal form of Krishna, which includes all the demigods. That will come. The movie will come. Now we are doing theory class. So you all understood, right? So what is Adi Deva? Let's just take a simpler example. I'm creating a WhatsApp group. So the first thing what happens is we'll create an admin, right? So the admin is in charge of creation of the WhatsApp group. So admin is Adi Deva. So Krishna creates admin for every universe to manage the smooth run of the day-to-day affairs of our material cosmic world. So that responsibility is on the Adi Deva. Clear? Now Adi Atma is about ourselves. So I am talking to y'all, okay, and I'm also hearing, right? This I am the hearer, right? I am the hearer, and therefore I become that is the Adi Atma. And the process of hearing, right? The ears, basically, ears are created by Adi Deva, but the ears by itself, right? I'm able to get reception. That's basically Adi Bhuta. So this is the definition. And Adi Yagna. Who is Yagna Purusha? Who's Yagna Purusha? What is so much confusion?
Yes.
Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. You can boldly tell Krishna. Who's also one more Yagna? Who's the head of Yagna besides Krishna? Also.
Vishnu?
No. Krishna, Vishnu, same package. So he's the super head, right? One more person, I'll give you a clue. One more Devata, they will pray as the Yagna, Yagneshwara, or the 4 Yagnas. They will pray one more Devata. Who is that?
Brahma.
Agni Bhagwan.
Agni.
Bhagwan is used during the process, Prabhu. Agni, the Agni Kunda is considered as a mouth of Vishnu, and the Agni is considered as the tongue of Krishna. Vishnu, Krishna are interchangeably used. But among the demigods,
Indra.
Yes, Mataji, who said that?
Sunita.
Yes, Sunita Mataji, perfect. Indra is the head, he is the, that is why the whole Govardhan Leela came. Why? Since they just want to wish some Tom, Dick and Harry? No, they wanted to wish Indra. They wanted to offer prayers because he is, to him is when always it is done. But the head, the Purusha becomes only Krishna. Right? So all of you ready for the 8.3? Let's dive in. Hare Krishna. So most of the questions Krishna will answer in the first two shlokas, that is 3 and 4. So let's see. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Akshara Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Dadyatmanuchyate Bhuta Bhavat Bhavo Karo Visharga Karma Samhita. Hare Krishna. Attendance link Mohandas Prabhu has put, so therefore it's right. Yes, Ananya, only perfect. So proud of you. You can put in public. Yes, who's going to read? Please go ahead and unmute and read.
The Supreme Lord said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the Self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma, or fruitive activities. Hare Krishna.
So beautifully Krishna is linking, right? So indestructible, very transcendental thing is, which has eternal nature, that's Brahman. And whatever action gives us this body is called karma, right? So he's giving the link. For someone who says, why am I not so beautiful? Why am I so ugly? Why is he so thing? It's all his karma, right? Now you know the answer. Now, animal may also ask, why is this person born as a human? Why not me? Hey, you did karma, okay? So that's the answer. Hare Krishna. Adi Bhutam Sharo Bhavaha Purushashadi Devatam Adi Yagno Aham Avevetra Dehi Deha Britambara. Hare Krishna.
The physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, and I am that Lord represented as the Super Soul, dwelling in the hearts of every embodied being. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. He says the physical nature constantly undergoes change. For a best example is caterpillar. You see caterpillar, the form of butterfly and that of a caterpillar is completely different, right? The caterpillar completely keeps visualizing the butterfly, right? It's like a worm and the butterfly is so beautiful. How it transforms. This is a classic example of the mutation, right? The transformation of the caterpillar into that of a butterfly, is a greatest gift of God in the process of mutation. And many people keep saying we can do it manually, which is going to be difficult. Hare Krishna. Just 1 second. Hare Krishna. Remembering Krishna at the time of death. Important. 8.5 to 8.8. So if you see, Krishna has answered the 7 questions out of 8 in the 2 verses of 3 and 4, but the he's going to answer throughout the session. Very important. One attains whatever one remembers at the time of death. Krishna recommends Arjuna to have his mind fixed, right, and meditate and dedicate activities to him. So now there are 2 conditions in this. He's telling, keep your activity fixed, focus on me. Yes, Krishna, don't renunciate. How can I do that? We saw that, right? Between 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters. Yes, you have to work in Krishna consciousness, which means Arjuna has to keep fighting and thinking of Krishna. Oh my God, so difficult task, right? For us, so difficult task. We are just going to stare at the wall and still we will not think of Krishna because we have to stare at the wall. Yes or no? Now imagine if you fight, right? It is so difficult. It is absolutely difficult to take your concentration off for a few milliseconds also at that. To imagine of Krishna, and Krishna is telling this is the way you have to do at that process. He's telling what happens, right? So let's see what happens to such a person who's going to Hare Krishna. I request you all go on mute, all of you. When you're reading, you'll unmute. Hare Krishna. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram yaha prayati samadbhavam yati nastatra samshaya. Hare Krishna.
And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt.
Yes, so he says very clearly, whoever, for example, the picture here, can anyone guess whose this?
Bhishma?
Yes. So Bhishma Pitama is at the deathbed. Can anybody be so lucky that the God is coming right in front of eye? Even if he wants to forget, he cannot. So this shows how exalted Bhishma is. And few knew, many did not know, but Krishna knows. Right? So Krishna comes right before his eyes and he is standing. And yet Bhishma says, show me Krishna, your Narayana 400 form. And Bhishma Pitama, he showed the 400 Narayana form. And that's why Bhishma Pitama went to the Vaikuntha. So the rasa which they were in is the 7, there are 5 primary rasas and there are 7 secondary rasas. And the rasa which Bhishma Pitama had with Krishna during the war was chivalry, right? So they were like fighting like raw enemies, but were they really enemies? No, they were really enjoying it. This is a very nice story in Mahabharatam where they go on exile, the 5 brothers, and when they are thirsty, they go and they want to drink water. Each brother is warned independently that, hey, don't drink this water, okay, you will die. Yaksha gives the warning, right? So the brothers don't bother and they drink and they die. Krishna comes and he's given the warning, and only then he realizes, oh my God, my brothers are dead, because until then each one of them think the other one is tired, they are sleeping. And when Yaksha comes, Yudhishthira requests, hey, Yaksha, tell me what I should do. I will do whatever. So he says, you answer my questions, and if you answer my questions correctly, I will liberate one of you all. And he says, go ahead, please pose the questions. And he asked so many questions, hundreds of questions. And of that question, this is the most difficult, realistic question. Hare Krishna. Ahani bhutani kachanti malayam sheshasvastavaram icchanti kimmashcharyam ataparam. Hare Krishna.
Hundreds and thousands of entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. Hare Krishna.
He asks, what is the most, Hare Krishna Prabhu, so nicely you're reading, thank you. He says, what is the most wonderful thing? He says there are hundreds and Thousands of people die every day before our eyes. Right around us, what we see for sure is death. And we all know even theory, na? Theory and practice is different. This is a classic example. We all know theoretically when you're born, you are going to die. So when you're born, there is a birth date, right? And you come with an expiry date. Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Right? Can anyone tell, no, Mataji, I do not have expiry date? Can any one of us give that guarantee?
No.
And does anyone have the luck of Icha Maranam? Bhishma had, Parikshit also had. He didn't have Icha Maranam, but he had a deadline. His expiry date was 1 week from the date, right? So are we lucky? Definitely no. We are lucky that we've got the human form of life, and we also are aware that death is going to happen. But the point here is, in spite of that, we will not know. Death won't come. And I really understood this when I got COVID. Right. And if I may pull even Mohandas Prabhu, we all, got COVID prior to knowing it was COVID. And each of us had our reason. I was saying, no, every new year, I'm like this. I would have had a sweet salt lime soda, so chill. And so I got it. Right. Or, maybe I went for a walk, which I didn't go. But, maybe the climate didn't suit. It's cold. It can never be cold. I'm in Chennai. But still, that's the feel. Now, Mohandas Prabhu, Mataji, I've been traveling, I've been roaming so much, that's why I think. And a lot of people in my house, my husband told me, COVID, no way I will get. No way, I will not get. Right? And we had many characters who had that, and my aunt said, COVID, no, I don't have any symptom. So likewise, each one of us had our own story, right? All of us. But frankly, everyone got. So COVID didn't spare. So is death. That's when I understood this transaction. So this is what it is, right? Unless Vinyana, unless you have a practical experience, we won't be able to understand. This was a classic example, and I hope most of you agree that anything which comes, we feel it will come, but it will not come to us. Right? That is the thing. Now, 8.6 is a eye opener. So what does he say? Antakali. Very clearly, he's talking about what do you think, and what is it? What you think is what you will become. Is what you do, what you sow is what you reap. Like that, what you think at the last moment is what you will become. So can anyone tell who's in the picture? Hare Krishna.
King Bharata.
Yeah, King Bharata. Hare Krishna. Yam yam vapishmaran bhavam tvachatante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah. Hare Krishna.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, the state he will attain without fail. Hare Krishna.
So he's very clearly telling, right? Whatever state you quit. So I hope everybody knows Bharat Maharaj's story. So I will give you a finer aspect of what you don't know. If anyone does not know, you can put in the chat. So Bharat Maharaj is the son of Dash. Does anyone know who's the son of? Anyone knows? No? Okay. So Bharat Maharaj is the son of an incarnation of Krishna called Rishabh Maharaj, who came for teaching perfection of yoga. That is Rishabh Maharaj. Rishabh had 100 sons, and Bharat was the eldest. The sons of his 100 sons, 9 sons went into Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means extreme level of brahmacharya. That means they will not even think. They will not even think of girl, right? So that level. And the balance 81 took sannyasi, which left, which has left us with 10. And this being Bharata, he was ruling the king. He was so handsome, very good looking. He had a lovely wife, children, family. But at the age of 24, he took sannyasi. In spite of taking sannyasism at the age of 24, what happened is he came to the forest and he was very dedicated. He was Bhava, very exalted devotee. We cannot comment on these devotees. These are all pastimes or possibly of Krishna. So what happens is in the forest, he sees a mummy deer, pregnant deer, like it's pregnant, and the she deer is being chased and gets scared by the roar of a lion. And she crosses over a river. While she's jumping over it, she delivers the child in that running stream. And then she, out of heart attack and stress, dies. So Bharat Maharaj sees this small little newborn deer, and he wants to save it, and he runs to save it. What he did, is it right or wrong?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. this is the beautiful quality of a devotee. Devotee is very, very, very compassionate. So he is extremely compassionate. So he goes and saves the small baby, which is the right thing. And he feeds, he nurses them and takes care, which till then is right. But what happens after this is slowly he gets involved, very involved, that he is not able to do yagna. Just look at him. He left his wife, beautiful wife, kingdom, jewelry, money, so many animals, his own kids and everything. And he wanted to do renounced order of life. And he came here. So this is what Krishna tells, right? It is not easy to practice, because if you're coming and if your mind is dwelling. Now, Bharat Maharaj mind didn't dwell. He was very much thinking of, Krishna only, Vishnu, when he was doing yagna. But after the deer came, that is when he started shifting, right? His focus is like, oh my God, did the deer eat something? Oh my God, did the deer light the way? Oh my God, the deer has gone to the forest now. It has not come. Maybe it has thought that I am not fit for taking care of the deer, or maybe some animal ate it. And one evening, the deer never came and he got worried and he went in search. Now, is it wrong or right is a different story, but that's not the purpose for which he's come. For someone like us who's having a dog or a cat or a monkey or whatever you call it in the house, and if it is not there, you go and search, it's fine, because we are materialistic and we will go, but we are not foregoing or abandoning, which is why we tell, when you're chanting, give undivided attention to Krishna. Don't tell Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh my God, milk is boiling, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, my office, that boss will come, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Who is this person here? He didn't send me a message. Okay, I'll check the mobile. No. Because when you're doing something, give undivided. Now, the whole purpose of Bharat Maharaj giving up the materialistic world is to come for spiritual world. But he left one materialistic work and recreated another material world. Did you see? He went to a different place, but he recreated this whole world. Now, if he has to really take shelter of all the beasts in the forest, is it even possible? He should have left it to Krishna. He should have saved it, yes. But then he can't be taking care till the end. He has come for Krishna. He has to trust on Krishna. Krishna is providing for the smallest animal. In your entire house, drop a small rice in some corner or a sugar. You come back, you won't know where you've dropped it. But the ant knows. So Krishna knows how these ants or the smallest animals, how they have to manage their life. So Krishna will take care, right? So you don't have to take his role. You don't have to question him, or you don't have to doubt him and take the role. So these Bharat Maharaj is very exalted, but because the next day, like whatever you are, at the time of death, what you think is what you attain. So he thought of the deer and died, and therefore he became he took the form of deer. He became a deer, and what is the best thing is he never forgot. Krishna gave him the remembrance so that he does not make a mistake. And as a deer, he comes back, and he goes to the same place where the yagnas were performed, and goes through the process. So now why am I saying this is because any of y'all, 1% remembers your past life.
No.
None of us, right?
Yes, Mataji.
No way. Good, we don't remember, Prabhu, because if we get to know that we were the prince and the queen, we'll be thinking, oh, I'm the queen. We'll be showing off, right? And if we were beggars, we'll be thinking, just imagine if we are a worm in a stool, we will think about ourselves. So good Krishna does not give us the memory or the intelligence.
At least in the entire life, 1 day or 2 days, if he gives that chance, it is very nice, Mataji.
Are you very difficult, Prabhu? Just imagine if I was a queen, I'll be worrying and I will be living in that world only. I will not come here. I'll be thinking, oh, I was a queen. Oh, I was like this. Already comparing with someone itself, half our life is going. Now comparing with ourselves. Or let's assume that, we are in some very abominable position. Let's say like a drug addict or prostitution. Just imagine, you can't even digest certain levels of thinking, right? What can be possible?
But this chance will reinforce the concept of rebirth, Mataji, because now we don't have any what is that proof that we are something else in the. So here people are confusing whether it is there or not, especially myself.
That is so nice, Prabhu. This is the initial stage. So all of us are confused, not just you. That is why we are in neophyte, right?
Yes, sir.
Because we are full of doubts. We are not sure. Because what is the level? 3 levels of bhakti, 3 levels of categorization of faith. 3 categories of people. We have, 3 levels of devotees. Come on, all of you. Question to you. What are the 3 levels of devotees?
Kanishka,
Kanishta, yeah.
Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari.
Yes, so what is the differentiating factor? One differentiating factor among all three, just one.
Kanishta will have less faith and
Amazing.
Madhyama and Uttama will have the 100% faith.
And
Faith.
Mataji, so nicely you said, only differentiating factor is faith. There's nothing else. The differentiation of factor, and that is why Prabhu, Ram Prabhu, why you have to have a spiritual master is that because our faith is weak and spiritual master faith is strong. Now, will that transfer? Yes. He prays to Krishna, telling anyway these people are useless, they don't have faith. He doesn't say that, but I'm just saying that. He says, Krishna, please, forgive them, please take them. That is the power of the spiritual master. And today is Nityananda's day, right? So he is a topmost guru, right? Primary, primeval guru. So let's all pray that we will get the direction. We will all have gurus and we will go in the right direction.
100% Mataji, faith is the root of all relationships. Faith, very
Krishna conscious as a bumper offer, Prabhu. See, between, let's say, you and me, or any two individual, faith has to be 100%, right? I used to have a classmate in my PG, in my MBA, where they used to say that the faith has to be 0 or 100. There's nothing called 99.99%, right? But Krishna conscious, he doesn't say that. So beautiful, Krishna. He says, even little bit faith is okay. Prabhu, tell me one thing, if, just for the sake of it, if your wife says to you, Sham Prabhu, I have faith in you, but I have faith about 60%. What do you tell her? Hey, Baki 40%, what happened? I lived with you so long. Okay, I have faith with you 90%. What happened to 10%? You will say or not?
Yes.
9.9%, she says, what happens to that 0.01%?
Yes.
Very natural. For us alone, we need our people to trust us. But for Krishna alone, won't he expect that? But he doesn't. He says, even little bit faith, I will conquer. How much does he come down? How much he should come down? Right?
Yes.
So that's the level. So, Prabhu, everything cannot be proof as per what we see because we do not have spiritual eyes. We have such horrible eyes that, if the screen jumps, I can't read the shloka. Right? If I crush my eye, and if the font size becomes too small, we are all struggling to read, irrespective of whatever age, right? So this becomes a major issue for us. So that Divya Drishti, if Krishna did give us, he did give us all the drishtis because we were in the spiritual world. We are not here. That is what we are reading here, right? Brahma is the eternal quality. But what happens is we are not happy. We came here to lord over. So what is the point? So Krishna gives us that memory to forget because that's what we want. Krishna wants us to have what we want, right? He doesn't really want to enforce. He keeps telling. The whole thing is like love story. Not the modern day love where they will say, you don't come to me, I will pour acid. No. It is like a genuine love where Krishna is coming after us. He's coming literally after us. Can you see that? We are born as a pig, he is coming inside the pig. We are born as a human being, he is inside as Paramatma. He is born, if we are born as a worm in the stool, he's coming there also. He's sitting in the stool with us, inside the worm, in the heart. Right? We saw, right? Yagna. So this is the challenge. This is the excellent quality of Krishna. So he is doing everything. But forgetfulness he does give because that's what he expects us. He gives it to us because we want that. It's not because he wants us to have. Hare Krishna. So tasmat, the word, so therefore, so no English starts with therefore. So what is the reason for the therefore? Because he gives us two words, antakali. So if you think of, at the time of death, remember me. This is the first 8.5. And 8.6, he says that, Yama, whatever you think is what you will become. So it's a continuation. Therefore, Hare Krishna, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manushmara nyudya cha mayar pitamano dittir mami vaishyasya samshayah. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very nice, Prabhu, very beautifully reading. So what are they telling? He says you have to fight. So therefore, he's telling you, think of me, you come to me. If you think of something else, you will become that. Therefore, please think of me and fight. Because during fighting, you don't know what's going to happen. So is us. We may not be there the next second, next hour, next year. Just don't know. Right? So every second we should be thinking of Krishna, which is very difficult. So this whole 7 to 13, 12th chapter, he will tell how all you can think, right? So he's going to start that. And can anyone tell who's this boy who's dancing and who's chanting? This boy? Nobody knows this boy? Yes, no?
That's Krishna, right? Krishna.
No, not Krishna. Krishna will be blue color, no?
Oh.
Yeah.
Dhruva?
Very close, but not Dhruva.
Prahlad.
Very nice. Thank you so much. So nice, Mother. It's Prahlad, but very nice. I'm so happy all are trying. Prahlad. So now I'm going back to the story of Prahlad, which all of you know. He is the son of Dash.
Simha.
Hiranyakasipu.
Hiranyakasipu. Yes.
And who is Hiranyakashipu?
He is the Dwara Balakas, one of them.
No, not that. I'm just telling who's Hiranyakashipu. He's a
Oh,
demon.
he's a Rakshas.
He's a Rakshas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine being a son of a Rakshas, a 5-year-old child. And this Rakshas exclusively hates Vishnu. He has so much of hatred. And he says that he is God, right? He used to control Indra. He used to control all the Devatas. His look used to scare even the sun god. How? Why? Because he got a benediction from Brahma that he should not die. Did not happen because Brahma said, I am itself not having immortality. So how can you expect immortality? And therefore he gets a benediction that, with a lot of intelligence. He says that I should not die in the morning, not in the evening, not on the floor, not on the sky, not by a man, not by an animal. All combinations he put. And therefore Krishna is smarter than the smartest, and he breaks all and he finds a reason to break it. Right? So, because two things. Brahma he's a devotee. He doesn't want, Krishna does not want to break the word of the devotee. At the same time, he wants to kill Hiranyakashipu. Now tell me one thing. All of us find reasons, don't we? Oh, I have a problem with my spouse. Oh, she's not at all understanding. I have a problem with my husband. He doesn't like me picking up the chant. My life, my husband is so important. As if for us others, nobody is important. Everybody is important. Hey, my child doesn't like chanting. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Hey, where is the time? Huh? Okay, so all this they keep doing. In fact, we never, I will share the admin presentation next week. And mainly my guru was telling, Radhika, you must put your designations, you must put your job profile, you should do. And I thought, this is not the role. I'm not going for an interview, right? We had this Tamil class at 7 p.m. and there is one Mataji by name Dhaneshwari Mataji who takes a class. And I was helping her out because we were only 2 of us initially told to start Tamil, and that was on Sunday. So, and I used to tell stories. Both of us are Telugu, so the grip of Tamil will be a little not so great. But there was one Mataji who, when we were talking this chapter, she goes, Mataji, all of y'all anyways are, when I shared this, she said, okay, your call, you want to go ahead and put the designations, it's fine, I'm neutral, she said. So so this Mataji came and told, Mataji, it's very easy for you all to tell because you all are jobless, right? You all can, she didn't mean it in a rude way. She meant it very, very nice. She said, but I am doing a part-time job, right? I go in the morning and I come back at 2:33. So it's easy for you all because you're just sitting and teaching. So how can we do this, right? So then she did explain, Dhaneshwari ma'am, she was very polite. She said, no, you're mistaken. None of us are just teachers. We're just doing this as a, as a voluntary service. Now, if we actually go in depth, as soon as the class got over, she said, I think Radhika, you got the answer. So Krishna gives us the answer. So whenever you're confused, right, between material, which is spiritual, Krishna shows direction. She said, please get it, because this is not, and the Guru explained, right? He told so many times, he said, it's important because people will, it's not because you have to be respected, it's because people will not see value until they see the material, because we are dealing, and I'm sharing this in level 2 because level 2 is more experienced, more elevated, right? But level 1 is just beginners, right? They will be more attracted by the opulence. What are you? Okay, you're carrying this, you're this, that they will carry, right? Why am I giving the background so much? Because that is what we are going to read in the 10th chapter. Opulence of Krishna. Why Krishna is doing? Because opulence is attract at the beginning stage, neophyte. So that's the link which I wanted to bring in here. And coming back to our Prahlad, why is this happening? Because Prahlad, at that trauma, small age, he is going through so much of trauma, but he didn't give up Krishna consciousness. He went on and on. So if someone is genuine, they will never give. And this is a very beautiful shloka, Hare Krishna 8.8. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa jnana gamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintayan. Hare Krishna.
He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very nicely he's saying that his mind is undeviated, forget it, he'll surely reach me, right? So that is what he is saying. So let's talk about the important points which are repeated, and normally repetition is considered as an error. But here it means you're repeating because it's very important. Lord Krishna talks about the importance of remembering, Shmarati, right? Remembering Krishna, and he completely is against he calls Mrityachara, pretender, in the 3rd chapter, and he continues, he says inactivity, right? Sannyasi is not at all accepting, because he says do your duty. How do you think of Krishna in a practical way is what he's explained, by constantly thinking. So currently we are doing sadhana bhakti. It's called the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, getting up, doing Mangalacharana, doing chanting, because we just do not have a choice. We have to do this way only. So that's the thing. And most effective way to remember Krishna is by chanting Hare Krishna. Why? If we chant for 16 times, roughly it's about 1.5 to 2 hours a day, then we are investing less than 10% of our day in Krishna conscious. Thereby, at least we will remember Krishna. Otherwise, the possibility of remembering Krishna is very rare. So he reveals the revival of the memory of Krishna, because it's like the lost treasure. Does anyone like to be in amnesia? Even if you have the lot of problems, right? You're for Krishna, give me amnesia. Does anyone pray like this? No, why? We want to forget problems, right? So amnesia is a beautiful way we forget problem. Why we don't pray? Because that's our origin. Even though we have problem, we don't want to forget. We just do not want to forget Krishna. We don't want to forget the life. Sorry, not Krishna, material world. We don't want to forget. But same way, Krishna is our spiritual, everlasting relationship we have. We have a sambandha, right? Why would we want to forget? So some part of our heart always wants. That's why soul, it's called killer of the soul. Asurya namate loka andena tamasavrita tamte pregya bigachanti eke atma manojana. Vishwanath very clearly says, if you do not give soul Krishna, then you're killing the soul, because some part of your soul always craves for Krishna, just like your stomach craves for food, right? So this is what it is, an importance of Purusha. Krishna is the real enjoyer. He's the only Purusha. Everybody in this room, every one of us, including me, including Mohandas Prabhu, everybody else are not Purusha. That is where the word Purusha comes, because wife is the enjoyee and the enjoyer is the husband. And Mohandas Prabhu, Anirban, Shyam, everybody are not logically Purushas. Krishna is the only Purusha. Rest of us are all, there is no gender bias here, but Krishna is the only enjoyer. Now the previous shloka, before we go to the next shloka, the previous shloka picture, can anyone guess who this is? These are Vishnu Dutas, and this is how you will be delivered, right? I was telling you all on the first day that our journey should be to Goloka Vrindavan together. So you need to know the means of transportation, right? So this is the flight. So last night I was talking about travel plan when I was taking 11th chapter for advanced batch Sunday 8 p.m. So I was telling them, the travel map is so boring for me. I don't like to talk about travel trips. Coordination, but I enjoy this travel trip, so I can just tell you I should take this picture. Mohandas Prabhu, just remind me next class we should show them this flight, because I didn't tell the flight how it looks like. So this,
okay,
yeah, thank you, Prabhu. This is the flight. This is the flight which comes to pick us up to go to Vrindavan, and we have to know our air hostess, right? So we personally have our hosts who are Vishnu Dutas with a 4-handed form, who look exactly like Vishnu. That's called Sarupya. Anybody in the can have 5 types of liberation. One of that is Sarupya, which means taking the same form of that of Krishna, right? So that is why Vishnu Dutas look exactly like Krishna. This is how we will be taken, right? And this story is about Ajamila. So I'll come to that story or at the end, or if we have time today, hopefully. So 8.9 to 13, remembering Krishna and practice remembering through meditation. By meditating on Krishna and his qualities or practicing Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga mixed Bhakti is called Mishra Bhakti. One can think of Supreme Personality of Godhead while quitting. So why does Krishna talk about Yoga Mishra Bhakti? Obviously, he needs pure Bhakti, but it's very difficult to achieve. So he's telling, okay, at least do Yoga Mishra. Masala, we tell, mixed Bhakti. What are the 2 types of Yoga? What are the types of Yoga Mishra Bhakti? Anybody can tell? Mixed Bhakti. Mixed Bhakti, can anyone tell what are the types of mixed Bhakti? We read first 6 chapters. What is that? Bhakti, when mixed with karma, becomes karma yoga, right? That is what? That is also mixed bhakti. Karma, when, yoga, when mixed with jnana, becomes again mixed bhakti, jnana, right? Jnana yoga. Now, if it is mixed with, siddhi, it becomes mixed with ashtangis, which is ashtanga yoga, right? So that is what he's talking about. So he's telling that, okay, currently I know it's difficult. If I talk about pure bhakti, on the first day of the 18th day, you people will run away. Which is why on the first day or the first 18 days, we do not talk about regulatory principles. Because at that time, if you tell, do not take non-veg, oh my God, everyone would have got a heart attack, which includes me, right? And possibly many of us would have ran. And when we had this yoga practice, get organized in the bank, and we told that everybody will organize, right? There was this physical yoga, not our yogasanas. So we thought, it will release stress. We didn't realize that Bhagavad Gita would have, otherwise I would have organized an 18-day Bhagavad Gita session then. So we had this session, and the first condition we put on him is, okay, you should not discuss diet. You can teach us exercise, physical, but you should not. So we were so dumb. We were thinking everything is about body, right? But the most important thing is mind. So this is the situation of our space. So on the first day, we do not talk about vegetarian, non-vegetarian, 4 regulatory principles, because we are very mixed. We are so much material, right? So now in level 2, I don't have a fear that my talking is going to make you run. That's one thing I love in advanced class, because I can be myself, because I can talk, because you're at advanced stage. Even though we are neophytes, we are in the higher level of neophytes. So we will not get into mockery or making fun or trying to really not understand the purpose of the conversation. Hare Krishna. Kavim Puranam Anushastitaram Anuraninyapsam Anushmaredya Sarvasya Dataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaha Parastat. Hare Krishna.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is the smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conceptions, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond this material nature. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Aditya is sun. So Aditya Varnam. So you can get that. And this, what is the size of the soul?
1/10 to the power 4.
I was waiting for Prabhu. 1 divided by 100 times, again divided by 100 times. 1/10,000 is the size of the soul. Where does the Paramatma reside?
Heart.
So what is the link? So it shows that he's smaller than the soul, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So that is the thing, right? So on one side he's like that. Now, so maybe you'll tell husband, wife, or jointly, whatever you tell. Now, who is the maintainer of this entire universe?
Control Krishna.
Yes, so all universes put together, Krishna is so, he's so big. He's so big. In Vishwarupa, you can see he's so big, right? So he's bigger than the biggest. So this one, what he's telling, he is everywhere. It says he's older than the oldest, younger, but you will always see him young. Yavvanam, Nava Yavvanam cha, he's always young. Right? Achudam, Advaitam, Achudam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam Purana Purusham, Nava Yavvanam cha, Vedeshu Durlabam, Adurlabam, Atma Bhakto, Govindamadi Purusham, Ambajami, Hare Krishna. So he's so young in spite of being the oldest. And he is, even in the, when he was in the battlefield, he must be around 100 years. He had grandchildren. But he was not looking old. Has anyone seen Krishna with beard? I haven't.
No.
Nobody can see, because he is not in that form at all, right? So, and he also says my two-handed form is as a person, right? So we are very clear on the 3 levels of realization of God. What are the 3 levels of realization of God? 3
Brahman realization, Paramatma, and Bhagavan realization.
Thank you so much. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti. So final is Bhagavan, right? Brahman is the knower of everything, past, present, and future. Puranam, we saw already, is the oldest. Anushashitam, right? He's a controller. Anur Ani Anusam, smaller than the smallest. Datram, Datra means maintainer, right? And Rupam, he's always a person, right? Chintya is inconceivable. And Aditya Varnam, luminous like the sun. Tamasa Parastat, transcendental, beyond material nature, nirguna, right? Beyond all material conceptions. When we say beyond material conceptions, it means that we can't understand on our own. Just now, Shyam Prabhu, I was waiting for the slide to explain. You had this doubt, right? Mataji, then, we should remember, we should see, even if we see Prabhu, we won't be able to understand. You know why? Because with Rupa Darshanam, he did show a trailer to Duryodhana. And that time, a lot of people were there, right behind, right? He did not take Duryodhana to a room and show. Even Dhritarashtra had the vision to see him. Now, many knew he was God, including Dhritarashtra. In spite of that, did he change? No, right? So that's the point which we are telling. So material conceptions, we are covered by material conception. So even if Krishna comes right before, which he did, he was before Shishupal, he was before Kamsa, but they never saw him as God. That is what will happen. So even if Krishna knocks our door and says, hey, I want to eat a little bit of gulab jamun, can I have him? Tell, who are you? And today, at least those days, they will make him enter and tell, yes, I will give you, even if you're not Krishna, I will give you. Today we'll tell, who are you? Damal, is he some joker, or is he some fraud, or is he from a fancy fit competition? Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
That's what we will have. So we have to see Krishna, which we will. For that, we have to elevate. We need to have eyes to see Krishna. And what is the current thing? Vedas are difficult to understand, which means it doesn't mean that you will not understand. When you tell in a context, for example, Mohandas Prabhu, when you tell your son that chemistry is difficult to understand, does it mean that you're telling him you'll never be able to understand it ever in your life? Is that what you mean?
No.
Right? And Anu Mataji, likewise with your daughter, cooking is so difficult. Do you mean that you're telling your daughter you're useless, you can never cook? Is that what you're saying? Is that what Mataji you're saying, your daughters? No. Or your daughter-in-laws?
No, in fact, I teach my son itself cooking. So
I love it. So what are you trying to tell? You are teaching. Thank you so much. So you're teaching. You say it, you may tell it's difficult, it's fire, it's scary, you have to take care. As a precaution, so that's the thing, he's giving a heads up that it's difficult, but he says you can understand it through spiritual master, which is why you need a spiritual master to understand the whole subject. And Brahma is constantly meditating on dash. Who's the person behind?
Vishnu.
Thank you so much. Yes, Krishna, we all know. Which form of Krishna?
Vishnu.
Agreed, but which form of?
Okay. This is
Yes.
Kshirodakshai Vishnu.
Thank you so much. Yes, Shiro Dakshai Vishnu, right? How do you feel? Because your Karno Dakshai Vishnu does not have Ananta Shesha or Lakshmi. So it is only in Garbo Dakshai Vishnu and Shiro Dakshai, and he's in the milk ocean. So therefore it's Shiro Dakshai. You may come back and tell, Mataji, I can't make out milk ocean. Okay, fine, you can see lotus. No, is there a lotus coming out of his stomach? No. So there is no Brahma. So it is Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. And this one is from Padma Puran. And she is asking, Parvati is asking, Shiva, my husband, whom is Krishna meditating? Who are you meditating on? She says, yes, I am meditating constantly on Krishna. Right? So 10th verse, Hare Krishna, Prayana Kale Manasachalena Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Guru Madhya Pranama Veshya Samyak Satam Param Purusham Upeti Divyam. Hare Krishna.
One who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is he saying? He's saying at the time of death, now he's telling you, right? So this is the Ashtangic yogi practices where I always told you in the 6th chapter, their object is Krishna. When the objective of Krishna also becomes that, he will reach the personality. So Ashtanga yoga also you can do. So what does he do at the time of death? He fixes his hair in the middle of the eyebrow, right? With the strength of yoga and engages himself in remembering the Paramatma feature, right? He prays on the Shiro Dakshai, Paramatma feature of the Lord without deviation. He will also achieve, but it's very difficult to do that, provided his object is Krishna and his objective is also Krishna. And the persons who are learnt in Vedas, who utter Omkara and who are great sages in renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one can reach. So what is he saying? We saw, right? Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So we address the Paramatma feature in Ashtanga Yoga. And who does the Brahman feature? The person who is a jnani, basically the sages, right? So these sages actually focus on the Brahman feature. They are focusing on the Brahman features and they want to, typically impersonalists, they go and reach the Brahma Jyoti. And can you be there? I've always said, in a flight, fine, first day, exciting 2 hours. Today, 24 hours, you'll be waiting to come out, right? So you can't be without doing anything. Even though in flight, we have movies, we have storybooks, we have constant eating 24/7, we are entertained in every way, we can sleep. In spite of that, we don't want to be there. So what will they do in Brahma Jyoti? They'll be bored and they'll come back to the material world. Right? 8.12, please read, Babu. Hare Krishna.
The yogic situation in that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head, one establishes himself in yoga. Hare Krishna.
Very clearly, he's talking about the process of yoga, which we are very far from, right? Because we are not talking about life air and also we are moving to 8.13. We did enough of yoga in the chapter 6. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the supreme personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly during yoga practice, what happens is automatically when he says Om, he quits the body and he will reach the supreme abode. So that's a speciality. So Omkara is the pranama mantra. That is why you will have Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Suklam Bharadam Vishnum Sasiva. Everything starts with Om. Because we saw Krishna is Omkara. And when you think, because they believe in chanting the holy name, Om, right? And when they do that, they also reach the supreme abode. So very clearly, he's talking about mixed bhakti. We have still not come to pure bhakti. For that, we have to wait till tomorrow. But today we are speaking about mixed bhakti, which is Yoga Mishra Bhakti, which has 4 kinds of people, which we saw. The first person is the Ashtanga Yogi, where he brings all his chakra, brings his life energy between the eyebrow and tries to get out of his head. So this is a very soft part. It's called, I don't know what it's called.
Sahasrara.
Yeah, thank you. It's already there. So through that, if the life energy goes, it goes directly to wherever he wants. So that's his thing. And the second category is is a yogi. In this, what he does is he goes into chanting of Om, and they believe in sacred prayers of Om, and he goes on chanting that. So there also he reaches renounced sense gratification. He completely is away from sex, especially sex, everything, but even this, even mind does not think of that, and fix mind on the heart, focus constantly on the Paramatma feature, right? So that is the thing. Do they reach Krishna? Yes, they also reach. So typically karma yogis, jnana yogis, ashtanga yogis, if their end is also Krishna, then obviously if they are thinking of Krishna at the time of death, yes, they will reach. Right? So he says attaining the supreme, thinking of the same. So he says whether it is Omkara preachers or impersonalists, say as long as they think of Krishna, yes. So what is a category of impersonalist? If the impersonalist is a Brahmavadi, right? If he thinks that, okay, I know Krishna is 3 forms, but I like to pray the energy form, just like 2 category of people, Sanat Kumaras, right? And Sukadev, both of them were Brahmavadis initially. They were form prayer, but they never made fun of anyone. There, they were thinking of Krishna as the absolute, and they wanted to pray the Krishna form. Not the Krishna form, sorry, the impersonal energy form. But they also slowly saw the smell in the Sanat Kumara, the sons of Brahma. He smelled the garland around the neck of Vishnu, and they got very curious. Okay, I have to see Krishna. So they get interested in the personal form of Krishna, right? So when they move into that, they will automatically go to the personal abode of Krishna. Ashtanga Yogis, Siddhis, all of them, they are higher planets, heaven or Brahmalok. There they sit, and in Swati, they come and do meditation on Krishna along with Brahma, and yes, they will reach. So there are options for them. It's not that they have to fall. They can, but it's a very difficult, complicated process. For us, when we are so happy, we go to heaven. Did I discuss this? Do we have a direct route flight from heaven, Goloka, Vrindavan, or we have to come through Earth? Did we discuss this? Or So we didn't. We did, right? So that's why. So because the heaven has so much of joy, so we won't feel like coming, right? So that is a chapter. Between 14 and 16, we are going to talk about Yoga Mishra Bhakti over pure Bhakti, which is what Krishna wants, right? Very quick recap of what we did today. Come to this later. So what he is talking about is very beautifully, Krishna. He starts with eight doubts of in the first two verses, and the third and the fourth verse, Krishna added, and the eighth verse is the rest of the shloka. And he says, what does he say? Think of all the time. You say, oh, difficult. Okay, then whatever you think at the end is what will happen. So Arjuna, think of me when you're fighting. No renunciation, right? He says, then also talks about little bit concession, right? He is moving to Yoga Mishra Bhakti, mixed Bhakti, and where you will reach in the Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So, and more to come tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to see pure Bhakti. So 8th chapter is so beautiful because 8th chapter talks about as to, the 7th chapter is very theoretical as to his energies, his opulences, material world, type of people and all that. It's more like knowledge. 8th chapter is more moving you from jnana to vijnana. How to, right? He's starting this. How can you come to me in the 8th chapter? So let's wait for the pure devotees. What is the category we are aspiring to? Because we are all decided we will take the flight and go directly there, and we will send the flight again for our to come back in the next batch. Yeah. And I'm not talking about Bhagavad Gita batch. I'm talking about our lifetime batch. Yeah. So Hare Krishna, and let's wait till the 18th chapter. Maybe Prabhu also will join us in our own flight. So with this, I'll end the section. Vancha kalpa darubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna devotees. Any doubts? Any doubts we will take in. Any doubts? You all have any doubts? You all can ask me. Any doubts? Any doubts?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
The today's chapter is attaining the Supreme.
Yes.
For this, Krishna is saying, giving us the various routes to attain Him. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Various roads he is showing, path to reach.
Paths to reach Him. In that, one is the, of course, from bottom to top, one is he says the yoga. That is correct. Am I correct?
Correct.
And another is the at the end of the life, that is that when we are leaving this body, we have to think it of what we want to be. That is one part, and another is the smarana of the Krishna. These are the three things now we have completed. Am I in the right path, or I'm?
I'll modify, Prabhu. So basically, what he is telling is your 2 points are correct. All 3 points are correct, but the link, I'm just trying to modify your question. So he says that at the time of death, towards the end, if you think of me, you will come to me. You don't have yoga. You can keep sleeping throughout, and suddenly when you know that you're going to, when we know that we are going to die, 1 minute before, if you think of him also, he'll take you there. But the fact is, will we be able to think of him in the last second of death when we have not thought of Krishna? When we have not thought of Krishna means we've thought of something else, right? So let's assume, Prabhu, we've been thinking of our, I'm just giving, or let's say family, right? So if we, because all of us are dear to our family, we've been thinking of the family all the time. And suddenly at the time of death, you think we will be able to drop thinking of family and move to Krishna? Not possible. That is why death is an examination, but our entire life is a practice, right? So why am I saying this? Because Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, all these, if the Krishna is the objective, you're practicing bhakti, right?
Yes.
If you are practicing and at the end you become successful, yes, you will achieve. But the easier process is bhakti itself. Bhakti is when you're praying, when you're doing your activity, you bring Krishna as a part of it. Ashtanga Yoga, he is saying, yes, you will reach, provided you are successful. If you're not, you will become a Vrityachara. That's what he's told. So these three are not together. These three are together. That is Karma, Yoga, whatever process you follow is a process. But destination, you can't mix the destination with Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is one of the routes. So your destination is when you think of Krishna at the time of death. That's the rule, right? We have a formula, right? So what is the formula? A formula is something where we put ready-made those variables, right? Your max, right? So I understand. I assume. So I'll go by that. So when you put various constants and variables, and when you replace the variables with a specific number, you get that solution, right? Your left equals to right. So our right is what to reach Krishna. And what is our left? The variables is what Krishna is giving now. So variable 1 is when you think of me at the time of death. Agreed. What if I don't think of you? The variable changes, right? Your alpha becomes beta. And the beta, if it is beta, then what happens? If it is beta, you become not the right. You become something else and you become a deer. You think maybe you will be coming into the same family. Wow, I will come in the same family. Yes. But may not be as a father, daughter, wife. It may be in the same family you will be there. Maybe as a cockroach, maybe as a lizard. Because that body is not on your wish. That body is based on karma. And your wish Krishna will fulfill, right? So as a wish will be fulfilled, you're there, we are there, but our karma decides the state of body. I didn't answer fully, so you complete your question.
Yes, Mataji, yes, correct.
Answered? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Please, all of you mark attendance.
And again, already I asked this question once in other time, but again I'm asking,
Yes.
You will reach me, you will attain me, means still I am not convinced. You will attain me means what? That means I will go to his abode, or I will not come back, or what is?
Both same, Prabhu. Both same. You will reach his abode, and his abode, once you reach, you won't want to come back. If you want to travel and see sightseeing, you can. But once you go there, you won't feel like coming back. It's so nice. It's so healthy. It's like your house, Prabhu. You are in a let's say that you're, I'm just taking an example, right? All of us are in a hut. Or let's say you're in a prison. I'll take this example. Unfortunately, we are in the prison, right? For some reason. And after that, we become lucky and we work hard and, we get a nice, lovely 3-star house or 3-star equivalent house or a 5-star house. Anybody will feel, oh, I was in the prison. Can I have a look at it? Maybe you may want to see. But would you say, can I go and experience a few more days in the prison? Anybody, any takers?
No.
Same thing. So the sooner we understand we are in the prison, then your answer will be no. Today, you are saying you want to stay here because you feel this prison is a 5-star hotel. You are nice, right? And the 18 days of Bhagavad Gita hopefully should help you to understand that you are in a prison and now you are aiming at going to a 5-star hotel and you should not come back. If you want to come and see your prison, you're most welcome. But you don't want to come and stay even for a single day. And once you go there, you won't feel like coming home.
No, that is exactly correct, Mataji. But as per today's this chapter 8.7 says very clearly, Krishna says you don't give up this material this thing, but you have to be here with giving. Krishna does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or material engagement, but always engage with the Krishna. Always be the Krishna consciousness. That is why I am saying yes. I want to be here only. That is the.
No, you don't understand. Over there also you'll be Krishna conscious only. What he's telling here is you should not do renunciation. What does he say? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anushmaran yudhyacha mayar pita mano buddhir. Correct. So my pita mano buddhir. You put your mind and intelligence. Mami vaishyasya asamshaya, you'll reach my abode. He is telling you your destination should be my abode, but you are not qualified. So you say that in 4th standard, you want to become a doctor. What will your father and mother tell? Prabhu, okay, you want to become a doctor? Fine. Prabhu, are you what are you? Engineer? What's your qualification, Prabhu, if I may ask?
Yes, I am engineer. I am qualified.
Yeah, so I'll take your example. So let's say you're in 6th standard and you went to your mom or dad. I'm sure you would have had a conversation when you're in 6th or 8th or 10th. Daddy, mommy, I want to become an engineer, right? So what did your father tell? Okay, very good child. You keep studying and I will get you extra books for you to study. Study and therefore you do engineering. Yes or no?
Yes.
Did they tell, oh, you want to become an engineer? Don't worry, just discontinue. Join an engineer or just go and do some civil practice. Build some 4 houses. You are excellent in building mud houses. Son, you should continue. Stop your studies. Will he say that or the first?
No.
Why, Prabhu? Why is your father not telling you run and you can become now?
No.
You can carry mud and become an engineer, right? You can degree, but you can do the engineering work, right?
Yes. But
why did
but we have to read 10th plus 2, then engineering like that. There must be the basics and engineering.
Gradual process.
Gradual process.
Yes.
Yes.
Same way Krishna is telling, whatever you are in the material world, you have to do your duty. Gradually you have to progress.
Yes, that is there is no doubt in it.
You can do. You still can become a civil engineer may not be a BE civil, but you can become a diploma civil or work on tractor civil engineer by leaving everything. That is all there, but it's very difficult. Is telling, please do your duty also, because you cannot leave your duty and run away. And suppose you run away at the age of 30, you have children, you have wife, you're going to put the risk of the child and the wife also in stake, right? Because some other joker will come and misbehave with your wife. And responsible. Not for your wife, even for a cat and a dog. That's what Krishna says. You are responsible for everything. So all the Bharat Maharaj, all of them, when they went, they didn't leave the palace and run away. Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he went after knowing Krishna, is lost his life, or not lost his life, he is disappeared. He makes Parikshit. He stays there. He makes Parikshit the king of the world, and then only he leaves. Are we capable of doing that? We are not capable. So we do our duty. We cannot put people to their own duty, right? So where can we second our duty to somebody else? So we have to do our duty and only hand it over to somebody. Therefore, very clearly, he is saying that you have to do your duty. You don't have a choice. So he doing your duty and thinking of Krishna are simultaneous. Krishna is not telling you should do your duty. That is your priority. He says you can even renunciate, but you won't be successful. So doing your duty, you're focusing, but you're not focusing on the second half, which he's saying, come to my abode. So when in your material world, you do your duty. He's not telling you to run away today. Time of death, by doing that, you are going to the abode. He didn't say you will be born again and think of me. Because if you're going to the spiritual abode, you will anyway think of him. And your duty, I always keep telling Chitra, which wife, which duty are you talking about, Sham Prabhu? You are talking about your present wife and children. Your previous birth, you had another wife. You wanted to see, right? I forgot to tell you, what if your wife is so beautiful, right? I'm just saying, right? So beautiful in your previous birth. Today, you look at your wife and think, I had such a beautiful wife. We're only thinking of yourself, right? All this happens. All this happens. So why I'm saying is having a previous birth is not a solution, right? Understanding Shastras, because if we don't believe in Shastras, we will not believe even if there is a video show before us. We will find reasons of fault there as well. Right?
Yes.
If I'm seeing you with suspicion, I'll be thinking, oh, this was so bad. He's deliberately tormenting me with doubts. If I'm going to see with that, that's what they call jaundice effect. Even if you are so genuine, I will think you're wrong. And even if you are, that's a problem, because the problem is not with you. The problem is with me. Why do they say jaundice eye effect or a yellow eye effect? Because the problem is not with the other person. It's with Adi Atma. I look everything with a yellow eye. It's not that you are yellow. It's because I have a yellowish look, right? That's an English term. So I hope you've answered. I know you're sticking to that point that Krishna tells to do a duty. Yes, but your duty ends. You have daughter, right?
Yes, Mataji.
You had taken her to school when she was in LKG, no, Prabhu?
Yes.
Why are you not taking her daily to office, Prabhu, today?
No, because she has to learn. That is why I joined her in school.
Got it? So that's the answer. Krishna has sent you to the prison because you wanted it. But now he's telling, come back to me. Right? It's not that you don't want to drop her. One day you will drop, but you wanted her to learn. So Krishna is telling you to learn through duty. Learn karma and learn me through the karma. The process of varnashram is for purification, which means what? You are doing varnashram so that you get purified and reach another abode. Right? And which is that abode? You come to me. I want you can't be dirty and come there. So I want you to purify yourself. And if the varnashram of doing your duty is not going to purify, waste of you doing varnashram. This is a statement. It will come later. So if you're just doing varna and tell that's my duty, I want to stick to the duty, I want to stick to my house, I want to stick to the money, then it's waste. It's like, oh daughter, I'm in LKG, I want you always in LKG. Every day I will come, even after marriage I'll come. You're out of love. But everything you do for her, then you're making her incapable. So if you're continuing karma, and if karma is your destination, then Krishna is not your destination. Karma should be a road for your destination. If you say, I love this road, Bangalore highway, I'm going to take the Bangalore highway. Good, that's your road, which is karma. But the destination is Bangalore. You say, no, I love the road, I want to stay in the road, then you will be stuck in the road, right? And the road is not going to be beautiful. I'm trying to answer, Prabhu, but you have to.
Yes. slowly getting.
Sure. I'm also hopeful. Yes, Shreya Mataji, intoxication is a sin, but for IFS, Foreign Service Officer, they are forced to do it as a part of their profession in exhibiting friendly relationship to other countries. What are we doing in that situation? Hare Krishna, very lovely question. Shreya Mataji, Socializing is different from drinking. I come from a bank, right? And I have worked in an MNC bank. And when I told to my Shiksha teacher, right, first time, Prema Kishori ma'am, I told ma'am, she said, when you go, your senses will get observed. That time I had a different feeling. I had something called the mind test. I thought we should be there in a place and not drink. So we actually host a lot of parties, right? And when we host a lot of these parties, many of the girls and the boys drink. Now, can I stay away from the party? Technically, I can't. Many people will tell, yes, I can, but you can't, because being head of something, it becomes a part of the duty to be there. But drinking or not is my choice. Being there is my duty, but drinking, nobody can breathe it through my neck. Not once I have been there, not once have I been there and even thought I should drink. You may tell, Hare, what they are, you're a lady. No, I have my brother-in-law, he has never touched. He has never touched alcohol in his life. Right? And he also comes from a very similar industry, finance industry. And finance industry, she also immediately told, hey, what are you telling? You're after all in India. She didn't use the word after all. You're in India. I know some other Mataji who is in US. She doesn't do those parties. Yes, but you have to get to the depth. That other Mataji was a relationship manager. She will not entertain people. She will only be talking to them across the floor. So you don't need, but we will throw parties. We will be part of the organizing committee. We are talking, we are giving an introductory meet. We are talking welcome offers. We can't just finish meeting and take the bag and go, because we are hosting, we are representing. So a host stays through. So till they drink and go, we are there. You can't break. One day maybe, but not every day. That's a duty, like how Sham Prabhu told, in our duty, how do we do? Yes, right? But Mataji, all of them, it's their choice, okay? And I have a classmate of mine who is working for a Korean embassy. And every time they drink, because for them, at least for us, drinking during lunch is wrong. They don't have such a rule. For them, it's social drinking. He has not touched alcohol. So Mataji, being there is not wrong, because that's a situation. But moving with the situation and blaming yourself is wrong, right? My family is not Krishna conscious, okay? Nothing wrong. So I can't chant. Second half is wrong. Prahalad was in a demon. Nobody's situation can be like Prahalad's. Can anyone tell that my situation is worse than Prahalad? Right? There are many Matajis who say that my husband don't like me chanting, agreed. But tell me one thing, do you always listen to your husbands and never in your life cross the line of your husband? If you say yes, then we can talk. Is any Mataji here saying that not once have I crossed the line? None of us are like that, neither me. So if we are willing to fight for so many reasons, why not for Krishna? Isn't worth it. The point is, we feel it is not worth it. We deep inside feel, is it worth to fight with my family or fight through I'm not telling you to fight, but are you willing to fight your own self? The problem does not lie with the family. Problem is with us, because we don't want to fight. Whereas we are okay to fight for a diamond ring or for a house or for a TV, because we feel the fight is worth it. But we are not willing to fight for this. Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
If you start fighting, Prabhu, you will trust me, all of you. I mean, I'm saying fighting, I'm not telling you to pick a swan or go rebellious. No, I'm telling fight within yourself. Kill the demon inside. Ask Madhusudana, Krishna, to take the role of Madhusudana. He will fight for you. Yeah, and everything in the environment will change. Today we saw, right? Adi Bhuta, you can never change. People say that Adi Bhuta gets fixed. Maybe, but how? Because you can change your Adi Atma. The way you see yellow eye effect, I remove, it's fine. Change the Adi Atma. Hare Krishna. With this, I end my session. Is there any further doubts, or else I hope I've answered you all. Hare Krishna. And if there are no further doubts, let's hear Prabhupada's video. Hare Krishna, is that fine? Mohandas Prabhu?
Yeah, Mataji, just give me a second.
Yes, and yes, no problem, Prabhu. Take your time. Is there any other doubts? Yes. Why does Krishna stand in cross-leg position? He's in a very relaxed position. So think of your position when you're in a house. When I'm taking class, I'm like this, right? But whereas, when I'm in the house, I'll be like relaxed. So Krishna is always in a very relaxed position. It shows his very lovable position. Shreya Mataji,